Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the information session for the Connaught Major Research Challenge for Black researchers. This session has been put together by the Vice President Research and Innovation Office and the Black Research Network. Thank you for joining us today for this event. My name is Maria Williams, and I'm the program lead for the Black Research Network, where I work very closely with Professor Beth Coleman, the BRN Director. As we start off today, I would like you to know that we would be recording this information session, and the recording will be made available post-event. For today's session, we will start off with presentations by VPRI and the BRN, followed by a Q&A session. I would like to encourage you to put together your questions while the presentation is on. And during the Q&A session, you may raise your hand to ask questions or put questions in the chat. I'll now introduce the presenters for today. With us today presenting, we have Professor Leah Cohen, Vice President, Research and Innovation and Strategic Initiatives, and also the Chair of the Connaught Committee. We also have presenting Judith Chadwick, Assistant Vice President, Research Services, and myself. Also supporting this information session today, we have Jeremy Knight, Director, Research Development, Michael Hussey, Research Funding Manager, Internal Programs, Andrea Gill, Research Equity and Development Strategist, and Vanessa Stephen, the BRN Project Manager. I'll now hand over to Professor Leah Cohen for opening remarks. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Maria, for the kind introduction, and thank you to everyone for joining us here today. Before we begin, I do wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. I want to thank all of you again for joining us today for this information session on the Connaught Major Research Challenge for Black Researchers program. I know many of you are eager to learn more about the program and the proposal application process to follow. U of T is committed to building an equitable, inclusive, and diverse research and innovation ecosystem. We embrace inclusive excellence and maximizing our research and innovation impact. In 2021, the Black Research Network was launched as one of the university's institutional strategic initiatives, with the mission to promote Black excellence at the University of Toronto and enhance the research capacity of Black scholars within the university and on the world stage. To date, the BRN boasts 203 U of T members across all three campuses, including faculty, librarians, postdoctoral fellows, graduate students, and undergraduate students as well. In collaboration with the Black Research Network, we are proud to support this program through the Connaught Fund, which has a long history of funding innovation and impactful research and traces its legacy back to U of T's famous Connaught laboratories. In 1921, University of Toronto researchers discovered insulin, for which they would later be awarded the Nobel Prize 2 years after. The Connaught Labs would become the only producer of insulin in Canada, and the main exporter of this life-saving medicine to Ireland, Central America, South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. For nearly 60 years, the Connaught Labs would research and produce vaccines and antitoxins that improved public health, including penicillin, the polio vaccine, and the smallpox vaccine. In 1972, U of T sold the Connaught Labs and established an endowment, which created the Connaught Fund. Recently celebrating its 50th anniversary, the Connaught Fund has grown to offer 10 funding programs available to researchers at all levels, interdisciplinary teams, and also to entrepreneurs. The Connaught Fund is the largest internal research funding program in Canada, with an endowment worth over $147 million. Incredibly, since its inception, more than $182 million has been awarded to University of Toronto researchers. The fund supports high-caliber research that seeks to meet the challenges facing our global society. This includes programs dedicated to global challenges, community partnerships, and provides dedicated funding streams to help increase the research impact of PhD students, Black and Indigenous researchers, and U of T-led startup companies. In 2022, the Connaught Fund and the BRN established the Major Research Challenge for Black Researchers program to support Black researchers by developing and strengthening new and existing collaborations between faculty, trainees, and thought leaders from multidisciplinary sectors to address major research challenges. The program is designed to enhance the capacity for these collaborations to attract external funding, form additional external partnerships, and develop new training opportunities. In March, Professor Natisha Mashakoi from the Department of Health and Society at UTSC was announced as the inaugural recipient of this fund. Her project will involve a collaboration with 13 U of T researchers and will support Black health equity research across our 3 campuses. Its aim is to seek tangible solutions to Canada's racial health gap by examining the social determinants of health. I wish all applicants the very best of luck, and I know that I speak for all of us when I say that I can't wait to see the future of the important work supported by this fund. So now it is my great pleasure to hand things over to Judith Chadwick, who will provide an overview of the program's application process, expense eligibility, and next steps. So Judith, over to you.
Thanks very much, Leah, and welcome everyone. I'm going to just take a couple of minutes to touch on some of the high-level aspects of the Major Research Challenge for Black Researchers program, which can also be found, information on the program can also be found on the Connaught website, and I put the funding opportunities link in the chat. Most of you will be somewhat familiar with this program, I believe already, and I just wanted to hit on the high points, and we can discuss more in detail during the follow-up chat. So as Leah mentioned, the purpose of this program is to develop new and strengthen existing collaborations between faculty, trainees, thought leaders from multidisciplinary sectors, and to address major research challenges faced by Black researchers. In terms of eligibility, as with most Connaught programs, a research initiative should be led by a campus-based Black researcher at the University of Toronto, with a team consisting of other faculty from at least 2 SGS divisions. We will adjudicate the applications on their merits, and we have up to $250,000 to spend in each year of the program. It may be that projects ask for less than $250,000, or that the panel may determine that the project could be undertaken with less than $250,000. So it's possible that more than one application might be awarded, but in the inaugural year, it was 1 award for $250,000 total. Our intention for this year is to have a notice of intent, and that's really just to give us a sense of what's coming in and to allow us to prepare and pull together an appropriate review panel. So the NOI with minimal information would be due on June 30th, and the full proposal would be due on October 2nd. We have not yet published this year's or the second round guidelines and application forms on the Connaught website, because we wanted to take advantage of discussion today and see if there are questions or ideas that come from our discussion that might cause us to tweak the program further. So next slide. A key thing to acknowledge is this is not a research operating program. This program is based on the Connaught Global Challenge program, the intention of which is to bring new or different teams together to address a compelling research question. And so the point is to build a collaboration, and hence the expenses under this program are to do with collaboration like expenses as indicated on this slide. So it's expected that the direct operating costs of research would be, to the extent that they are part of the ongoing programs of the various collaborators would be resourced from other sources. So we have some examples of expenditures, appropriate eligible expenditures there on the slide as well. And then the next slide, the evaluation criteria. So in the first round, these were the criteria that were used. I see now that we have the good fortune of having Professor Fallon, Barbara Fallon, with us today, who was one of the members of the adjudication panel in the first round. Welcome,
Thank
Barbara.
you, Judith.
And these are the evaluation criteria that were applied to each proposal in equal measure. So that is just a quick high-level review of the program as it unfolded last year. And now I'll hand it back over to Maria.
Thank you, Judith. The next two slides will provide a high-level outline of the 2022 awarded project by PI Notisha Masakoi. We are using the awarded project proposal as a model to help establish the scale of the research challenge, the proposal, and the scope of the team, keeping in mind the evaluation criteria for the competition, which Judith just spoke about. The title of the 2022 awarded research proposal was Reimagining Black Health in Canada. And to start off, we see the purpose of the project clearly outlining the major research challenge that's being addressed. And that is to decolonize healthcare and improve Black health outcomes using a community-based approach to identify health research priorities for Black communities in Canada. The overarching objective of this proposal is to address this major challenge. In addressing this major challenge is to implement interventions focused on efforts to address avoidable and unjust inequities, historical and contemporary injustices, and the elimination of Black health and healthcare disparities. Following the articulation of the purpose is the establishment of goals that indicate how the overarching objective may be achieved. So on this slide, we've indicated 3 examples of the goals that were in the proposal to provide a sense of scope. For instance, one of the goals highlights the strength and the potential impact of partnerships with key stakeholders, including communities and also relevant health institutions. Another goal highlights how the research agenda will be informed by community as a more effective way to initiate and drive more systematic and responsive solutions. We also highlight here the scope of the team represented on the proposal, where we see the diversity on the Black-led multidisciplinary research team, reflecting tri-campus and multiple departments and faculties across the university, and also indication of the collaborative makeup of the team that includes over 20 researchers and community partner organizations. This helps show the breadth of expertise on the team and the potential contribution towards achieving the proposed goals. Next slide, please. Thank you. On the proposal, in addition to providing the research approach and the project outcomes, there's also a very clear strategy outlined that indicates how the proposed outcomes may be achieved. For instance, the inclusion of a well-articulated knowledge translation plan, highlighting that there would be organization of stakeholder engagement sessions, preparations of policy briefs, development of publications, the use of social media, and also a training and mentorship plan, which showcases the depth or the extent to which skills and knowledge would be improved. And there would be community engagement and outreach, and also event coordination. An added item here indicates how many students would be trained throughout the duration of the program, highlighting the specific skills and knowledge they would gain and the relevance to their careers, and also potential mentoring opportunities from the collaborative team of interdisciplinary researchers and community partners. And it also on the proposal, when looking at the response to an indication of potential impact, the proposal not only highlights the related impact, the direct impact of addressing this major research challenge, but it also highlights some impacts to UFT. For instance, it includes impact of highlighting UFT's multidisciplinary talent, expertise, and ability to elevate research of Black researchers through the funding of this project. And also it would also emphasize UFT's commitment to eliminate anti-Black racism and advance the recommendations of the university's anti-Black racism task force. So these are just highlights from the 2022 awarded project, keeping in mind the evaluation criteria for the competition. I would also like to mention that based on the strength of the applications received through the competition, the BRN also went on to support 2 additional researchers with small-scale grants to support their work.